Are your birds healthy during the first 1 week, but suddenly after 2 weeks they start dying? Does this sound familiar? How many poultry farmers lose birds between 2 and 4 weeks of age? And today I will explain the reasons behind these losses and how you can prevent them. Of course, if you don't know me, this is Henry at Uganda Growers Farm. Yeah, there are so many ways that people are losing their birds, mostly after the second week. Yeah, after the first and second week the birds start dying. But in today's video I'm explaining what causes those losses. The biggest point is disease outbreaks. Okay, one of the biggest reasons farmers lose their broilers after 2 weeks is diseases. At this age, diseases such as gumboro, coccidiosis, and respiratory infections become so common. Okay, and if you're not observant, you can actually lose the entire flock. So meaning you have to be on alert when you're doing this poultry farming. One of the signs that will appear in your birds if there is any outbreak of infection is depression and weakness. Okay, the birds are going to be depressed, are going to become weak. So what you need to do is you have to make sure that you are observant. Buy some multivitamin and give the birds. Diarrhea is going to be another sign. Okay, the birds can start diarrheating. Remember, these birds are meant to give solid droppings, but if they start giving droppings which are actually watery, that one is a sign of an infection. Make sure that you rush faster and get some antibiotic and give to your birds. Then of course coughing and sneezing, then loss of appetite. All these ones are signs that you have got an outbreak of an infection at your farm. So make sure that you attend to them. What do you need to do? One of the things, the preventive measures you need to do is follow the vaccination schedule. Every supplier of your chicks, he has a vaccination chart. So ask for those people to give you a chart or ask them to tell you the days you are meant to vaccinate. If you don't vaccinate, you are meant to suffer a big loss. Okay? And then of course maintain a good biosecurity. When you maintain a good biosecurity, you are going to have healthy birds, and of course you're going to be free from this disease outbreak. They say prevention is better than cure. So what you need to do is you have to make sure that you have a foot dip, okay, where you put your foot dip, and after that, if you finish to have that foot dip, you can also prevent unnecessary visitations at the farm, because sometimes people are the first number one carrier of what? Of infections from here to there. So make sure that your biosecurity is really on a high gear. Then of course another one thing you need to do, and the bigger one, is you isolate the sick birds. If you do that and you isolate the bird, you're going to be limiting the outbreak of infections to other birds. Okay, but if you don't, you are going to be putting your birds at risk. So make sure that you have all these things to be put together so that you may be free from this disease outbreak. Okay, but if you don't do that, you are going to be at a high risk of getting these infections at your farm. And yet if they are there, they are going to be causing for you a big loss. So point number 2 is poor brooding during the first 1 week. Mistakes made during brooding may not show immediately, but they will start affecting your birds after the 2 weeks. If you cannot use your eyes to sense the heat in the brooder house, then you buy what they call a thermometer. It will help you, it will simplify your work, it will know the heat you are meant to put, not low, not high. but it is going to be something that will help you. So the common mistakes people make while brooding is low temperatures in the structure, poor ventilation. We have people who love closing everywhere because they have crammed that the birds, they need the heat. Yeah, it is true they need the heat, but of course the house should also have oxygen. Normally, the charcoal we use it produces what they call carbon monoxide. Now, that carbon monoxide is a dangerous gas to birds and even people. You can actually die in your brooder if you close everywhere. So make sure that you have a well aerated brooder room. Yeah, and of course the wet litter. Don't allow your litter to be wet, meaning that your people who support you are meant to carry the drinkers so nicely so that no water can pour. And of course overcrowding is another bad mistake that people are always making. Okay, don't overcrowd the birds when you're carrying out brooding. What you need to do as a preventive measure is maintain proper brooding temperatures. Okay, I told you buy a thermometer and it will help you solve the matter. And of course keep your litter dry. Okay, and of course ensure adequate space for the birds. When you do that, your birds are going to grow very well and you will not have any issue here. So the third one is coccidiosis. Coccidiosis is another disease commonly, it appears commonly on the second week onwards, especially where litter is wet. Okay, so at week 2, week 3, coccidiosis attacks. So what you need to do, what we advise right now is make sure that you buy some antibiotics for coccidiosis, that at the second week you give them, third week you give them, even for cough. Those are the things which are disturbing these birds. And if you don't pay attention to them, they will actually die. Yeah, they will die. So make sure that at week 3 you have some coccidia to give the birds so that they will be free from coccidiosis. Some of the signs that will appear when the birds have coccidiosis is blooded droppings. Okay, they will give some blooded droppings. Some birds will be weak. Okay, some birds will poorly grow, and there will be an increased mortality. So when you see any of these signs, just know coccidiosis has attacked. Okay, some people have crammed that only droppings, but I want to tell you, sometimes they might even have normal droppings, but they are weak. So you have to study all these things. So the preventive measure you need to do is keep the litter dry, use coccidiostains as recommended by your vet doctor, and clean your drinkers regularly. So when you clean them regularly, you are going to be free from the infections. The fourth point which I have as to why people lose their birds is poor feed quality. When we talk about the poor feed quality, sometimes people don't really get the point until when you knock. That's when you can understand what people talk about at poor quality. Our bunch, which we've just disposed of, we experienced some issues with the growth, which was caused by the feeds we bought. So we bought some feeds from a certain new company which supplied us, but we realized their feeds have low protein and the birds didn't grow. So what happened? The birds became stunned. They did not grow so well. So low quality feed slows the growth and weakens the immune system, making birds vulnerable to diseases. So what you need to do as a prevention is buy feeds from a reputable suppliers. Okay, and then of course store feeds properly and avoid moldy feeds to your birds. If you give them the moldy feeds, it will be when it has lost the content. So make sure that you you give them the high quality feeds. The fifth one is lack of clean water. Okay, the birds always need really clean water. Okay, if you don't give them clean water, they are going to be really at risk. So without enough clean water, birds eat less, feeds, and become stressed. Okay, they become really stressed. So what you need to do as your preventive measure is provide clean water all the time to your birds. Okay, and of course clean the drinkers regularly. This one also helps to prevent the outbreak of infections. Yeah, those are our birds. Of course they're on sale. If you want, you find us at Nagongera Road, opposite near the mosque. We are in this Toro town, just along Nagongera Road. Yeah, when you come, you will see us just opposite here. Our cage is always there. Okay, you can come. We supply you with mature birds. We have every time. Yeah, or you can call us on that number, then we can supply you. Okay, back to our point. The sixth point is overcrowding. When you overcrowd your birds, too many birds in a small space causes stress, poor air quality, and faster disease spread or disease outbreak. So when you overcrowd your birds, you are going to get a lot of infections because of too much crowding. And of course, the birds will give the droppings, which will cause ammonia gas, and ammonia gas will cause cough, flu, sneezing, all that. So what you need to do to prevent is provide adequate floor space. Yeah, provide adequate floor space and increase the number of feeders and drinkers. Okay, put enough feeders for the birds and enough drinkers so that the birds all can access the feeds at the same time. Okay, but if you give them they start struggling, I'm telling you, things are not going to be well with you. Yeah, so make sure that you give them enough feeders. And of course, my last point is poor ventilation. Okay, poor airflow causes ammonia buildup and respiratory problems. I repeat, poor airflow causes ammonia buildup and respiratory problems. So when you're brooding, make sure that you have a well-aerated brooder. Friends, this one I repeat, don't just enclose everywhere your brooder house and you think you're doing a perfect job. No, you're just causing a problem. Okay? So, the prevention is ensure fresh air enters the poultry house. Okay? At least if it is a house, let the windows be open. Remove the wet litter promptly. Every time you see litter is wet, remove it. You replace it with dry litter. When you do that, you are going to be on top, okay, of the game. But if you don't, you're going to be below the game. Okay? Yeah. And of course, all of us, we are working so hard to be on top of the game. Yeah, if you are losing broilers after 2 weeks, check your vaccination program, your feed quality, your water supply, your ventilation, your litter condition, the early detection, and the proper management. If you follow all those things and you see that you are following them, it can save your flock and protect your profits. Yeah, but if you don't follow it, you are going to be losing a lot of profits when the birds die. So make sure that you observe all those things. You will not lose any. So have you ever lost broilers after 2 weeks? Share your experience in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for more poultry farming tips from Uganda Growers family. So thank you so much. Catch you very soon in another video. I remain Henry here at Uganda Growers. We offer trainings every Wednesdays, so you can book me and I give you some training. Catch you soon in another video. Shalom.